Okay, everybody, this is Urban Owls month number 8. We only have 2 months to go after this. So this month we are, Mary, if you want to show them the shooting star on the wall there, that is what we're making. If you can bring one back to me, that'd be great. All right.
Fantastic.
All right, so this is the block we're making. There are 3 exactly the same blocks. So the first thing you're going to do is decide how you want your color. So on this one, how I did it was this row was the same color, same fabric, etc. And if you look at the original one that I made, you'll notice the whole outer rim is orange and pink, then it's blue and green. So you just need to decide first before you start how you want your colors to be on your block. All right, so in your pattern from Wendy, you'll have 3 pages of the exact same thing. And each page has a left and a right star. So you'll notice a left and a right star. So I believe she gives you 3 so that you can actually use this pattern. I would make a copy of it instead of use your pattern. But again, you only really need 1 page, and it's 3 of the left, 3 of the right. And there goes my phone. All right, so we're gonna put this together exactly how we did month 7. So if you didn't watch month 7, you're gonna need to go back and kind of watch it, because we're not gonna do paper piecing. We're gonna actually use freezer paper method, which we don't sew through the paper. So the first thing I did was I redrew Wendy's pattern on freezer paper, on the dull side of the freezer paper. And I wrote, make 3 of the right, 3 of the left, so I didn't accidentally make 6 of the same thing. And what you can notice is on Wendy's pattern here, she's got a lot of markings. She's got numbers, she's got letters, all kinds of stuff. You don't need any of the letters. You just need the numbers. And I drew it, and I put a little arrow because she doesn't really say which line it is, but you can tell. But as I was sewing this, I thought it would be easier if I had a little arrow telling me what direction to go. See, 1, 2, and how I have it here is 1, 2 with an arrow. So basically, so basically you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. The only thing I did mark is the black. And that was just so that I didn't forget when I got there. But the rest are the colors that I choose to go in the other spots, okay? So after you draw this, remember, you then take this to your sewing machine, take out your thread, and you're just gonna sew on all the lines on the freezer paper. And what that does is it helps you fold it.
It perforates it.
Yeah, you perforate, exactly, okay. Mary. Perfect, thank you. All right, so as you sew, remember, you are going to glue your first one down, or actually just iron it onto the freezer paper. I did use pins. I found that these long strips kind of shifted. So I did use pins on that. And in your packet that you got this month, all these instructions, of course, are in here. And here's the fabric that you're gonna get. Some people got 2 different blacks. I used 2 different blacks in mine. You can't tell the difference. It's totally fine. The only cutting instructions are for the black. You're just gonna cut those in 8-inch long by 1-inch pieces. Everything else you don't really need to cut. All right, so once you start making it, the only thing I really wanna go over, you'll notice here, I just got a picture of this on this page with the instructions. But what I wanna go over is the mistakes you can make, because I found that it was not a challenging block to make, but there were mistakes that were easy to make. So the first one here, you can see this piece is gonna cover that point by 1/4 inch. This piece, you notice I didn't cover it. So that's the biggest mistake you'll make. You just don't make it long enough to cover these really deep points. And remember, you gotta come all the way out to the point, 1/4 inch. All right, the next one that you're gonna make is, like, let's say I didn't have enough fabric right here. You can kind of see. I did not want to remake my whole block. I waited until it was all done and then realized I was missing a little piece. I had to pick it back, and I just added a little piece.
That little...
Right, just that little chunk there. But my suggestion would be every time you finish a piece, look at it and make sure it's right. It's easier to fix as you go versus three
And
pieces later.
that error came from
This,
not having it long enough.
yes,
Yeah.
and then not double checking it when I went to the next piece. So when I was all done, I realized, oh my gosh, I've got a hole in my fabric. So I didn't want to go remake it. The next biggest piece, or the next biggest thing you're going to have is, do you notice down here on this picture, this one's fat and this one's skinny? That was because my fabric shifted as I sewed. So these long pieces do require some pins in the fabric along with your pattern, and that'll keep it from shifting. And as you sew, just be sure that you're keeping right next to the line as you sew. So like if this was my line, I fold it back. See how I didn't fold that quite right, Mary? See how it's here and here?
Gosh.
That's gonna cause this
to be skinny
right,
to
to be
fat.
skinny to fat. Is that exact reason. I think even on this example here, if we grab the same one I was just showing everybody else.
Oh, this is a little...
Right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see? It's because when I folded the paper back, I was in a hurry and I didn't look. I know, right? So it's not hard to do. The key to putting this whole block together is you want these to match. So even though this is too big, you don't really see it. You see this. So when you put it together, you're going to put a pin through the intersection right there, and the pin will come out at the intersection on this side, and then you open it up and you make sure that you hit the intersection. Remember, the tip with that is you put the pin in the intersection, then you're going to put a pin on the right, a pin on the left, and then you can take out the center pin. And that will actually give you a more accurate, it'll hold it in place better than just the single pin. So at each of these intersections, that's how I did it, because I was more worried again.
Did you ever use glue?
About hitting this.
That glue stuff?
Yes, that
do
seam
that?
align glue would totally work in this situation. You can
Okay.
totally glue it,
And then
open it up, and you'll know.
sure,
Yeah, you'll
yeah.
know that you're hitting it. So that seam align glue, Mary, I
Where
don't
did
have
we
one
use-
with me. Can you show
We
up
used
there?
it. Yeah, here.
It's
I'll
like-
just-
yeah, you guys
I'm
might
sorry,
use
don't...
it.
I will be right up there. Come on, come with me. Come with me. We used it on some other
Yeah, we did.
part. It's this stuff.
Right, so you just put a little drop, and then you hit it with the iron, and it's better than a pin, actually. So for precision sewing, in fact, it's even called precision piecing product.
Yeah.
So
if
that
you
works
still
great.
have that,
Yeah,
that would be good
that
to
would be
use. Okay.
So I think that's actually it, Mary.
Okay.
You'll notice we're not going to sew these together. The last thing I did do is a stay stitch on the edge.
Oh, okay.
Not necessary if you're not going to manhandle it, but since of course I keep pulling mine out, you're going to have to do that. There's just a lot of bias on here, and there's the finished block, but we are not putting it together.
We're not
Remember,
sewing it
we're waiting
because
to the end.
we have to put the borders.
Right, the borders on
on and all that.
that's what we're looking for. So you notice this one, I
Yes.
did the color a little bit different. The other one's a little more
Little right,
organized.
right.
But you get to decide with the
Yeah.
fabric in your kit.
Yeah. Wonderful.
All right?
Okay. Only how many more?
Two.
Two more
Two, Mary.
left.
That's it.
We're coming down. We're pooping down the home trail, as my mother would say. Okay. All right. Everybody. I always have to throw in my mom's little sayings. Okay, everybody. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.